Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. In this episode, I'm gonna cover animation nodes, kind of concept of resampling. Sverchok, I already talked about it many times using Grease Pencil and how we can resample Grease Pencil, just like a curve. With animation nodes, apparently we actually have quite a tools to deal with a curve, which is under the spline. And I think it's about time for me to look at every nodes under this column. So the one that I'm interested in is for now is get samples. So get samples should be pretty interesting. So you should be able to guess what it does. Basically, if you have like a circle, for example, which is a Bezier curve, if I grab this circle and you kind of want to know what it does, you can kind of tell. Let's say if we have like an icosphere in the scene, and then we use the object instancer, we can grab the icosphere and then create instance of these objects based on the how many sampling we created. We can easily get this result. So this is the objects being instanced already, and then this is the position that we can just simply plug that in. So that's pretty simple, pretty handy. With icosphere, they are all pretty much the same, so we can't tell the difference. It's a good idea to always check with a torus, for example. Get the torus for in here. Get the torus. Now we can see, okay, that's being instanced that way, and you want to know you can control the start and the end of this. So that's pretty cool. You can perhaps even resample the curve itself and generate a new curve based on this resampling position. Yeah, maybe I should try that. I didn't plan this, but spline from points, that's can be pretty handy. So apparently spline from points have been enhanced in this version of animation nodes. Not quite familiar with it, but I can try to output a spline. Turn on spline, create a new output. That's a new spline, and the points should be coming from this position. So we should get, if you can see it, I think there's a new spline there, a little one. So I'll probably hide this torus if I can. Select all by type mesh, and I'll gonna hide it in layer number 2. So you can see this is the original curve, and there's a smaller curve being generated there. Select all by type mesh, hide it, and maybe I should hide the original curve. Hide it into layer number 3. So you can see the smaller curve there being generated on the fly. Oh yeah, I keep generating the other guy as well. Well, anyway, bring all of them back into layer 1. So yeah, so I think this get spline samples actually very cool. So you can easily place instance of objects along the curve. And let me save this real quick first. And resampling basic. Sometimes if you don't know what a node does, actually animation node has a very nice documentations. Let's say get samples. Get spline samples. So yeah, this is really nice documentation. It has some image as well. You can have a look, and then you can easily get the result, just what I show you here. And I'll save this and then save the blend zip. So because this example doesn't have the zip, the blend zip. So I'll create that. And there's also one more thing, this with the tangent, I believe we can just simply plug it in into the rotations, and it should kind of does something to the rotations of our instance objects. So let me try that again. Didn't work automatically. Maybe I need to change the directions to rotation. Sometimes we need to do this manually. So directions, position is the directions, and then rotations is the output. Now you can see right away we can have this objects being rotated based on the tangent of the curve. So that's really handy. Tangent. Okay, that's better. I was using the position. Sometimes you can use the position as well, but the tangent is better. So lots of potential here. Euler rotation, matrix rotation. That's really cool. I think Sverchok doesn't have this. They have it in a different way, but this is very cool, very easy to understand. Now you can see there's a smaller curve being generated, and also there's a larger curve. Maybe with a smaller curve, I will make it like more obvious here with a bevel depth. Okay, now it's very clear. Use the resolution as well, so you can create this kind of a torus effect with spline that's kind of growing based on still based on the circle, which is this guy right here. So yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I guess, for this live noding. It's pretty easy and basics. Should get you started with animation nodes. There's a lot of nodes right here, maybe almost 100 nodes with animation nodes. But even with that amount, it's like you can do so many things, and you can even, once you have this, you can animate each one of these instance objects. Okay, don't forget about that. You can always like scale it and offset the locations and rotations. There's a lot of things you can do here. Don't forget the offset and the delay thing. Yeah, I think this is pretty good example. So I'll save it again. I'll save the zip and give it to you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.